let's make lemonade. Okay. Let's go to work.
Stop! That's the signal! Go! Go! 6! It's beautiful! Mother Nature just pissed her pants, dude!
Start your day with a jolt of energy and no-holds-barred opinions. This is The Rush, where Travis Justice and Ross Peterson bring you bold, unfiltered, and uncensored takes on sports, life, and everything in between. Buckle up and let's go.
Welcome to the Rush Radio Show on therushradio.com. Happy Friday, everybody. I'm Travis Justice. He's Ross Peterson. What's going on there, buddy?
Mother Nature just pissed her pantsuit.
Yeah. I'm wondering when I get rid of that. I don't know when I'm going to get rid of that open, but I think we'll keep it for a little bit.
I thought it was just a day one thing when you played it the first day, and then you played it day two, and I was like, oh, okay. And that, honestly, this morning, like it starts, I'm like, yeah. I'm like doing it with Danny McBride. Oh.
Danny McBride makes that part. I mean, it's Danny McBride playing Danny McBride, but it's absolutely perfect.
I mean, look, it's a hard thing to say who's the best single character in that movie, because a lot of people would go, well, it's very obviously
Tom Cruise.
Okay, all right. Because I was going to say it's very obviously Robert Downey Jr.
I mean, everybody plays a great part in that movie.
Exactly. But Tom Cruise, Danny McBride, even Nick Nolte. I just know the sound it makes when it takes a man's life.
Probably the only character I don't care for in that movie is Jack Black. But
so here's the deal. You know, initially that was written for Nick Swardson.
Oh, I did not know that.
So if you can put Nick Swardson in that character, it seems to kind of make a little bit more sense. But anyway, love the movie. How's your Friday? How's your week been?
The week's been good. This has been, it's funny. I got up at 3:30 today, right? And I'm out here working, and my wife is like, can't sleep. I said, no, role has changed a little bit. Got to get some work done for the show. I go, it's not like it used to be, because now with the video elements and everything like that, I want to be a little bit prepared. And not that I wasn't prepared before, but I'm just doing a little bit more preparation, and it's probably adding an extra hour, which is fine. Doesn't bother me that much, but it's just still. There's a lot to balance here that I'm still getting used to. As Owen says, he goes, you need another person in there. I said, yeah, we probably do, but it's not going to happen for the time being. Sorry, buddy. I love you. Can't pay you quite yet. But no, we're off to a good start. Of course, the Rush Radio Show powered by Willis Automotive. And we want to thank them for their support, for letting this show get on the air and get through our first week. We got through our first week. And look behind you. You made a phone call to me yesterday, and you also sent me a couple photos. What's behind you? Show that again one more time. That is the band poster from Hilton Coliseum. And they were handing those out like candy last night at El Bait Shop, right?
I was only able to get to El Bait. I went down to Fong's, and I wanted to hit the Royal Mile event that Bruno told us about. And I wasn't feeling great anyway, so I was kind of in a mood of like, if I could just pull in, grab the stickers I want to get, and get home, because again, new schedule, getting back to the 9 a.m. or 9 p.m. bedtime, right? So I ended up looping around to El Bait Shop, had a parking spot there. Man, I don't know if they had just dropped them on the bar when I showed up, Trav, but when I walked in, Justin from Urbandale is there with his girlfriend. Melanie is standing there. JT Nutt is sitting at the bar, and they're like going through the stuff. Joe behind the bar is like, dude, check this out. So I grabbed a couple of these. They're just like wall stickers. So there's nothing in I literally peeled that off the back and stuck it to the wall. It's like a fat head. Have you ever seen those things?
Yeah, I've seen a fat head.
Yeah.
The older I get, the less the fat head comes around, but I see it every once in a while.
Yeah, I see them in houses every now and again. You know what I mean? They're there.
It just dawned on you. You fell for it hook, line, and sinker, man. It just went right over your head. That's okay. That's okay.
Don't let that happen often. But now.
It went over your head. Now, so you've got stickers, too.
This is the other thing I got. Yeah, got to get it just right for the light there. The Rush stickers. These were available. These were available aplenty also. So I got to get some of these to Central City because the guys at Central City were when we said we had these, Brian wrote to me right away and said, get those to me. I said, yep, I'll bring them. And then I didn't get my hands on them until late last night.
You walked into Elbait Shop. Good crowd there, knowing exactly what was going on with this stuff?
Oh, I don't think it was it was a good crowd at Elbait Shop.
Well, there's always a good crowd at Elbait Shop, but what I want to know is, were people taking the Rush stuff?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And people were telling me their plans for where it was all going to end up, too. I heard a lot of that yesterday. Had lunch with my buddy Frank, who has been a listener. He found you in Omaha back in early 2000s. And I had lunch with him, and he was telling me all of his guerrilla warfare tactics. So,
of course, I encouraged everybody to email me yesterday at travis@therushladio.com. And I said I would send you a PDF of the band poster from Hilton Coliseum. Ross, I sent well over 100 PDFs yesterday. I answered a lot of emails last night, yesterday afternoon. A lot of people have this in their possession.
Thank you so much. Everybody out there, thank you so much. That's super cool. Travis turned a no to an opportunity into hiring 1,000 marketers. Thank you.
And the truth is, the people who listen to the show are our best marketers. Probably the biggest surprise that I got an email from the regional manager of all the Central Iowa Jimmy Johns. And now Jimmy John's not a sponsor of the show, but if you want to come on board, we're more than happy to listen. But he goes, I'm going to hang up in every restroom in Jimmy John's in Central Iowa. So if somebody sees one, and if you see one of these out and about, just snap a photo, follow us on X at Rush Mornings, and show us where you see them, because it's just fun to see where these things are going to end up.
Dude, speaking of X, did you see the guy that tweeted the video of us at 0.5 speed?
Oh, with Bruno yesterday? That was classic. Absolutely classic.
I didn't know I sounded so drunk.
Yesterday I talked about the Rush Army. And I saw this yesterday on Facebook, and Jay just put it in on the chat on YouTube as well. And he might have a better idea than me. And I this came to me in a matter of like 5 seconds, right? Instead of the Rush Army, how about the Rush Rebels? Everybody here is a rebel. The Rush Rebels. It does. It fits a lot better.
And I like avoiding the Army thing. I'm good with that. Somebody pointed out yesterday how much the Rush Army sounded like the Russian Army.
Oh, I never thought of that either. Thank you for pointing that out. Again, this is a collaborative effort.
It came to him, and we all saw the idea go through his brain. We all saw it. That's how fast it went. Idea out on the internet, live to the world. Let's do it.
Yeah, rarely do I run stuff by people, and I was explaining to somebody yesterday that, a lot of people think I'm kind of a creative guy, right? And I don't know if I'm that creative, but my best ideas come when we're having conversations like this. I can't sit in a room and whiteboard something and go, okay, let's come up with the next best thing. I have to be having these conversations, these dialogue, and then it's boom. Yeah. Oh, okay. How about we start here? And so yesterday I started with the Army thing. I'm like, well... But then when I saw Jay put up Rebels, I'm like, oh, there's alliteration there. It's a little different. We could have fun with that with some merch. I like the idea of the Rush Rebels. Everybody,
I'm a Rush Rebel.
That's right. Is that mine or is that yours? Can you hear that ding going through?
No, I cannot.
Okay, that's fine. It's more people are asking for PDFs. I'm sitting here going, "Oh, okay."
That was your email thing going off. No, yeah, I didn't hear it. Maybe everybody else did, but I didn't hear anything.
No, that's good. But so the The people are asking for the PDF. But
Wait a minute. Hold on.
Yeah.
Jay has some good ideas. The
Okay.
Rush Rebels is one of those good ideas.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that. I'm on board. Sign me up. He says everything's better with a Star Wars reference. You could do a poster where Travis is Obi-Wan and Ross is Leia. What the?
Well, you're skinny. You have hair.
I'm gonna start wearing hoodies and like baggy clothes. I'm gonna start wearing a parka. They can stop skinny shaming me.
It's okay. Our buddy Mick, better known as Jeep Stud on X, is going to Nashville this weekend, and he actually got merch before we got merch. He went and had shirts made. They look screen printed already. I'm like, how'd you get those done so fast? I don't understand. I was like, wow. So he's going to Nashville. He's taking posters, and he's taking his long sleeve shirts, and he's going full bore Rush Rebel to Nashville. Eastbound and down, baby.
Mick.
And Mick's been a supporter for a long, long time, and we appreciate that. You know who could use our help? This is one of those the topics is probably better off for later on in the show, but while we're at it, we might as well do it right now. You know who could use our help is the Utah Hockey Club.
Oh, dude, I did not know what disaster was still unfolding.
It is absolutely unreal. And this is a lesson learned in branding. It's a lesson learned in public relations. It's a lesson learned that, sometimes we rely on our listeners a lot. But when you're an NHL franchise and you are representing a state, you're representing a city, it may be best, A, to do some homework if you're going to come up with a name. And then B, don't let your fans vote. I know it sounds so cool to say, hey, let's get the fans involved. Let's let this be a fan selection. And so the Utah Hockey Club, which played a preseason game at Wells Fargo Arena in Des Moines,
people bought Utah Hockey Club merch.
Yes. And it's like, okay, let's have a fan vote on naming the team. Sounds like a great idea, doesn't it? No, it's not. It's not. So they come up with one. They're ready for the Utah Yetis. Not once did they think, what's the most popular cooler brand in the world right now? Yeti? And so the trademark people in the United States government said, yeah, this isn't going to pass the muster. This is going to be too confusing to people because Yeti right now is more aligned with coolers and cups and stuff that keeps your stuff cold and hot. And they were ready to go. They were ready to do all this stuff with the Utah Yeti, and they got the bad news. So they had to go back to square one. And square one was let the fans vote again. You would think you would learn from the first time. Don't let the fans vote. So they came up with another, basically the first runner-up and the second runner-up and the third runner-up. But they threw one in that was never part of the original fan voting. So they came up with the Mammoth. They came up with Utah Hockey Club. And then they threw in the Wasatch. It's a it's a mountain pass, right? So they're using a mountain range and a mountain pass there where a mythical snow creature apparently lived using the Yeti thing, and they could have this Yeti type of mascot. Well, yesterday, after they launched this,
we're
Ross...
not the Eagles. We're the Eagles' nest.
After they launched this, there was so much pushback from fans, they took it off. And then they added Outlaws. So they've screwed this whole thing up.
From the word go, Travis, you nailed it. Public relations, media relations. They have... this has been a fumble the whole time. You are absolutely right that the voting thing ran its course a long time ago, and quite frankly, we're to blame for it. And I don't mean we as media members. I just mean we as people, us, U.S., us, all of us, because of this Bodie McBoatface, Horsey McHorseface, Footy McFootface thing. I was trying to do some Googling to see where that took off from, and I think it started with there was a boat that was doing important missions, and the name of the boat was Bodie McBoatface. Well, so I think it was a San Diego a San Diego soccer team did this, where they were like, hey, we don't know what to name our club, so we're going to put it out there into the public because, again, we're trying to raise awareness for our tiny little soccer club. We're not the NHL. We're not the NHL. We needed to get some creative stuff to get some people involved in what we're doing here. Who wants to name our soccer team? And people put Footy McFootface as one of the names, right? That's about the level that should go to. The Des Moines Menace. That's about the level that you should. If the Iowa Barns, what a perfect name, by the way. But that level of sports is where you
minor
can say,
league.
Yeah, let's get the community involved, because really what we're looking for is community engagement. We're trying to bring you guys in right away and make you feel part of the team. This is the NHL.
It's major league.
This is the big times, and you're pulling this what's the carnival game type of thing. Hey, everybody, come look at us. You can help us name our team. You've nailed, like, from the word go when they said this, I'm like, this is a disaster. And then to finally say, all right, going with Yetis. You guys like that? Oh, wait, we can't? We didn't run this past the U.S. Trademark Office?
Yeah, and copyright?
You didn't float a flag? You never made a call to say, hey, by the way, guys, and that, by the way, I would say, Trav, is not just on this Utah hockey club. How is nobody in the NHL making that phone call? How is the NHL not involved with this at some level to help them and guide them and go, hey, by the way, you can't call your team a lot of things. Can't call them the Lakers. Can't call them the Yankees.
Well, not only that, let's say the NHL says do what you want. And I have a feeling Omaha went through this when they went from the Royals to the Storm Chasers. They were always going to be the Storm Chasers, but they did a fan vote, like River Bandits for the Missouri River and stuff. But they always knew they wanted to be the Storm Chasers.
That was when it was like a hot thing.
Yes.
It had a moment where it was possible, and then we just became douchebags about it.
But why not even make a phone call to the U.S. Trademark Office and say, hey, here's what we're thinking.
Yeah.
What do you think? Should we even launch this?
Is this going to fly? If we launch this thing, is this thing going to fly? And nobody thought to call the Yeti Corporation?
Because you could have had a partnership there. And Yeti might have said, hey, let's partner and we'll let you use the name Yeti.
And so when I first saw this, Travis, my first thought was, why wouldn't Yeti Coolers say, hey, do this? We're going to sell a lot more coolers in Utah. We'll name this. We'll help you guys. We'll do stadium naming rights. I wonder, though, if the lawyers get involved right away and say, hey, don't play this game. Do not. This can confuse people down the road.
Because you don't want to lose your name.
Yeah, and this is the NHL, again, as we're talking about. This brand is going to be big right away. Whenever they slap a name on it, it's going to be big. Okay. So if I am the Yeti Corporation, I think I do probably listen to my attorneys and fight this thing. And I've shared this story a couple times, and I feel like like Bert and I were talking about, I can conflate details because I like stories. Barntown Brewery here in Des Moines, it's out in West Des Moines, Waukee area. Okay, but Pete Faber, he's been a awesome dude, great partner of ours for a long time. Pete wanted to name his bar when he started a brewery. He wanted to call it Barn City, and he's trademarked the name, filed for the trademark, and got a cease and desist. Oddly enough, from his former landlord. So he calls his landlord. He's like, hey, man, I just got a cease and desist from you. I'm trying to start a brewery here in Des Moines. And the guy's like, what's the name of it? He says, Barn City. The guy says, yeah, I actually own the naming rights to a company called Burn City in Chicago. And my attorneys must have flagged it because it's close enough. And that's how that led Pete to the name Barntown, and then you hear people say that. You tell people that, and they go, well, Barntown's a better name anyway. I go, yeah, I think Pete says so too.
Usually works out that way.
It works out that way. And Utah will come up with this, but you're right, Travis. They need to decide. They need to tell people, here's what we are. And I did like Utah Yeti.
Yeah, it was a good name, but it was botched from the beginning. And you do your homework on and it's another example of why you don't let fans get involved. Because they come up with Yeti, it's thrown out there, they're like, yeah. You got to do that work beforehand. Right when you purchased the team from Arizona, you should have said, hey, this is our idea. Let's do this work behind the scenes and clear all the hurdles before you have this this contest.
Another old family story that I think will apply to this, because if you had to pick one of these three names that's going to be the name, not the one you would pick, they're down between Utah Hockey Club, Utah Mammoth, and Utah Wasatch, or now it's Utah.
The Outlaws. They got rid of the Wasatch.
Yeah, right. Sorry. Which of those three do you think it will be? Not which do you want it to be. Would you make it? Which do you think it will be? And I'll tell you why I'm asking this question.
Okay, I actually like.
Not what you like.
No, okay. I think it's going to be the Outlaws.
I think it's going to be the Utah Hockey Club. Here's why.
Okay.
When I'm a little kid, my neighbors get a dog, and they call the dog Puppy. They're like, hey, we got a new puppy. What's the dog's name going to be? And the dad was adamant. We have a couple of days to name this puppy. We'll come up with a name for the puppy. Puppy's going to get a name. Puppy will have a name. 3 or 4 days of calling the puppy Puppy. Guess what the puppy's name was the rest of its life?
Puppy?
Puppy. This team has been called the Utah Hockey Club for so long. Because we'll just slap this generic name on it because we can't get creative. We want to bring everybody in. It's the Utah Hockey Club.
And I kind of like the name. I mean, it's different. Yeah, you can still have your abominable snowman, Yeti type character.
That's a good, Trav. That's a great point. Actually, that's a great point. Your mascot, that's a great point. You didn't have to call him a Yeti. You call him a whole bunch of stupid names. What's the Philly Fanatic thing?
That little green,
with the,
Muppet-looking character that you see on Sesame Street.
You could come up with your own thing and it looks like a Yeti, but you call it a Snuffleupagus.
Does he really exist? Because only Big Bird could see Snuffleupagus, right? When I was growing up, nobody knew what Snuffleupagus was. Is Snuffleupagus
He was kind of like a woolly mammoth, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was.
And now hold on, Big Bird, because I could see Snuffleupagus.
No, because you were watching television.
Oh.
Like Big Bird would always talk about Snuffleupagus, and everybody on the show was like, we don't know what you're talking about, because they never knew that he existed.
That.
But that was, again, this was back in the 1970s. And so I don't know if he ever became visible to everybody else, if the bit kept going. Yeah.
The 6-foot bird was the only one that could see the giant woolly mammoth. But everybody would talk to the big bird like that was normal. They would just talk to this 6-foot bird like, oh, that's totally normal.
And then they made a scrounger in a trash can. I mean, everybody would go talk to
Oscar the Grouch.
Oscar the Grouch.
What was Grover?
What was Grover?
Is that are we still Sesame Street, or am I starting to veer?
No. Grover was part of Sesame Street. Bert and Ernie were part of Sesame Street. Big Bird was part of Sesame Street. The Count was part of Sesame Street.
Yeah.
1. Today's number is 1.
2.
When I stopped watching, back in the 70s, Elmo wasn't part of Sesame Street yet. So I never grew up in the Elmo generation. Thank God.
Yeah, I didn't really know Elmo either. I remember when that kind of became a big deal. That was new to me.
So, 515-517-2303. Just we had a couple callers, but they dropped off. So you need to know.
Oh, sorry about that.
No, that's fine. Just if you do call the show, we encourage you to stay on hold. I can see the call screener, but sometimes it's going to take a little bit longer to get to the call because we're in the middle of a conversation. We're talking about things, and I will get to your call. Trust me, I see you, but if you don't want to wait on hold, totally understand your lack of patience. But just know that you'll go through an automatic screening process, and you might be on hold for a little bit. That's it. So just be aware of that. We do have a busy day coming up. A lot of people asking if there's going to be a penalty box. No, there's not going to be a penalty box today. Now, not saying that there won't be something like that in the future, but just today, there's not going to be a penalty box. We've replaced the penalty box with Brooks Reynolds at 7:30.
And Trav, I think we've got the chat up. The phone line is open. We are more than welcome, or you are more than welcome to share your ideas with us. We've had some really good stuff come in about what to do, how to do, because we do want to do something like that to bring people in and have fun to end our Friday shows. What that's called. And how we do it, we're up for some suggestions.
And by the way, Eric says, the Rush is not that creative. You're right, but Ross and I have been doing the Rush for over 10 years.
And Travis's wife's the one that came up with the name anyway.
Was it Anjanette?
She didn't invent. Yeah.
People are saying under the bus segment. No, because we made fun of people for years for instead of throwing people in the penalty box, they threw them under the bus. We had to correct them. We'll come up with something. It's this is like an online live creative marketing agency.
Put it to a vote. Tank 28 says, "Let the listeners decide."
We
see, this is a great example. We're in exactly that position. We want to bring people in. We kind of need to be like, hey guys, come be part of what we're doing here. Be a part of this. Feel like you're a part of it. The NHL doesn't need to do that.
No. I will say when it comes to naming stuff, I sent Ross like 10 options yesterday for our post-game Hawkeye football show, because we can't take the old name with us. Ross isn't paying attention to his emails. It came from the Rush Radio email account.
Looking at my emails now. Looking at emails.
It's okay.
Okay. What are do you want to fire off?
I don't even have. I don't have them on me. But we're coming up with a name for that show, and we have some time to do it. But it's just ideas, and I'm throwing by creative marketing agencies and going, okay, what do we do here?
I've got the list in front of me.
Okay.
And I'm looking at this for the first time as well.
And these are just ideas. Nothing, I'm just wanted to get the creative juices flowing because we can't take the name Sound off with us. And for good reason. I mean, that's been a staple on a very big radio station for a long time.
Can you explain some of them to me?
Not really.
I just picked words. Some of these are autofill. I just hit a letter and let Google decide.
I mean, let's be honest. The name Sound Off is a great name. I don't know if you'll ever be able to replace such a great name like that. But we
think
have
that was Kotler and Newell that came up with that?
Maybe, because Kotler and Newell started that show, right?
Yeah. Let's see. You have Hawked Off. That's a good one. We're off to a good start there. Hawked Off. How about The Nest Unfiltered? And I don't know what do we have? Isn't there something called The Nest?
There might be. I again, just throwing ideas out there. And I had a little assistance from ChatGPT, because I was like, okay, give me some ideas. Here's the premise. And, I use a little AI to help me out here.
Fourth and Furious. Ooh. That just sounds tough.
It's time for Fourth and Furious with
That sounds
Travis
like a
and Ross.
segment. That sounds to me like a segment within the show.
Might be.
Like Fourth and Furious. Here we go. Coming at you with rapid fire. And we just come at, We throw random stats at people. The white things at the end of the strawberries aren't even the seeds, they're fruit. Blacked out and gold bled?
Yeah. Again,
Okay,
AI
all right.
help me here.
Okay, this is the one I need a little bit of help with.
Okay.
The perch.
You know, a bird sits on a perch.
Oh my
a bird
God.
perches. You didn't have to drop your phone. You didn't have to look at me with such great disgust.
I'm not even seeing my.
I didn't see any ideas from you.
I
You
don't
didn't
have
throw
no,
out any ideas.
No. I'm Travis. I'm an idiot. I was thinking of the fish. I'm the idiot.
That's two that have gone over your head in the first half hour of the show this morning.
you, it's like I didn't get enough sleep or something. All right, then you've got Hawkeye Full Send, Hawkeye Havoc. Oh, I like that, and Feathered Fury. I like Hawkeye Havoc. That's a fun one.
We might have to stay away from the Hawkeye moniker, though, because of
Oh yeah, good point.
trademark and in copyright stuff.
Yeah, dude. When I saw the perch, I'm like, I don't get it. And then as soon as you said, like where a bird sits,
Does a bird sit or does a bird stand?
that's a good question.
Because I don't know the answer to that. I think
Does
a
a
duck
bird-
sits, but does like an eagle sit?
Yeah, a bird sits. When a bird is, I'm going back here so I can see it here. Yeah, a bird sits, of course. Right?
Does it? Or does it lay down when it's in its nest? Just a question I'm asking. You never know. So it's stuff to ponder. Brooks Reynolds is going to be joining us right around 7:30. It's where in the world is Brooks Reynolds, because nobody knows where that guy's at. Nobody knows where he's
Now,
at.
serious question: is he somewhere other than Polk County?
Yes, he is. Yes.
Outside of the state of Iowa?
I believe so, yes.
Do you think he is outside of the jurisdiction of the United States of America?
I don't have an answer to that. I'm not a positive on that one. Yes.
Question marks abound.
515-517-2303. Don't forget, you can always subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you're watching on YouTube right now, hit that subscribe button. We'd love to have you become a Rush Rebel and be one of our subscribers. You can follow us on X at Rush Mornings. And, of course, like our Facebook page. And, of course, you can listen all day long at therushradio.com. Just hit the listen live button, and you can hear the show that's replaying all the time. Or right below that, you can just listen to the podcast. And you can find it on all your podcast networks, iHeartRadio, Apple, Spotify, everywhere you get your podcasts. It is The Rush Radio Show on therushradio.com. Ross, if you are looking for a job and you're an auto tech, maybe the best place to do it is Willis Auto.
Yes, they are currently looking for some JLR and Volvo technicians. They have some huge opportunities for you, and here's what they're offering. They got a $5,000 sign-on bonus for experienced techs, a relocation assistance available, and deferred compensation bonuses and benefits that are second to none.
And if you want to know what the techs at Willis Auto have to say about working at Willis Auto, just take a listen.
When I thought about applying here, it kind of aligned with where I want to be in the industry, and that's, basically the best. I saw this as a long-term opportunity.
The idea is to spend, all the way up until retirement, as long as they'll have me,
Missing a quality home-cooked meal? The kind Mom used to make? Lucky for you, we found her recipe book. Welcome to the High Life. Welcome to the Champagne of Bars.
You know why Central City Liquor is always so busy?
Yeah, it's because of the cash coupon.
Saving money is important, but honestly, I think it's our huge variety, the convenience of our store.
Now, I'm going to stick with the everyday cash coupon.
Well, the guys come in for those great values, but the ladies come in to see me, you know.
I don't think so.
Morning, Tom. We got cash coupon today.
Good deal. That's going to save you some money on that bottle, Mike.
Central City Liquors, open 7 days a week, 5 blocks north of 235 on 2nd Avenue. Save 10% when you pay in cash.
With over 260 beers on tap, El Bait Shop isn't just another craft beer bar. It's the best. Beer lovers know. El Bait Shop, 200 Southwest 2nd, Des Moines.
Start the new year with a new car at Willis Chevrolet of Granger. We have the largest inventory of new and certified pre-owned vehicles in the area, and we're offering huge savings during our new year new car sales event. Save up to $8,000 on selected 2024 Silverado 1500s or $10,000 on Tahoes or Suburbans. Looking for something affordable? Check out the Trax and Trailblazer starting at just $23,000. At Willis Chevrolet of Granger, we're your small, friendly, family-owned dealership. For great deals and great service, visit us at Willis Chevrolet at Granger today.
Welcome back to the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive. Good to have you along on a Friday. I'm Travis Justice. He's Ross Peterson. We're here till 8 o'clock today. A lot of stuff coming in, and of course, if anybody has an opinion about this show, my harshest critic, Ross, is my son. And full disclosure, this show would not be on the air, and Ross can attest to this, if it wasn't for my son, Owen.
Neither one of us would be in the position we're in, condition we're in, sound the way we do if it weren't for Owen. And then I've had a lot of people, Travis, reach out and say, like, our buddy Bill Blank reached out and was like, dude, you guys' audio sounds amazing.
Yes,
so I did tell him to call you. Did he ever reach out to you?
No, Bill Blank has never called me. He's never called me.
I think he was going to reach out to you about a processor or something. So we'll see what that.
But because he's my biggest critic, usually it's when he comes over to the house, or I'll get some random text. But I must have sent him off today because he's on the phone right now at 515-517-2303. Owen, hello, sir.
Hey, good morning. How's it going?
Good.
This feels bad. This feels like this has that feeling of we're about to be scolded for something.
I know, and when you get scolded by your son, it really makes you feel like crap.
All right,
no,
what do we do?
I don't want to scold. I don't want to scold you. I wanted to throw in my opinion because those AI ones, they're really bad. Yeah, they're really bad. I was, in my opinion, I just think you call it the Iowa Postgame call-in show with Travis and Ross.
That's boring. Huh. That's boring.
Dude, that's not boring. It's simple. It's not. So people are going to hear those AI names and go, what the hell is this show?
You might have a point.
That's a fair point.
You mean, I have this sign in my office that says, if you confuse, you lose, meaning in your messaging.
Yeah.
And so maybe I should follow my own advice. Don't try to confuse people.
Don't get cutesy with it. Just keep it simple, stupid.
He just called me stupid.
No, he's just quoting just the title
no,
of the book.
I didn't call you stupid.
Yeah, just a book title. Recommended reading list is what he was sharing with you.
Yes, he was.
I'm calling you stupid.
And also, why are we giving the audience a mascot?
What do you mean?
The Rush Rebels?
Well, because they're our army. They're the ones going out and
I think that only works if the audience just makes a name for themselves.
Okay,
they did.
They did. They came up with that.
Jay came up with that. Does that help?
Okay, well, that helps. It's still cheesy to me.
You know me. I'm cheesy. I'm cheesy.
That reluctant acquiescence of, okay.
This is what I put up with every day, folks. I am told, every day that, in not so many words, I'm stupid. Is basically what it comes down to. I'm stupid.
No.
Kinda?
I'm a filter.
Yes, you are.
A filter. I put the kebab on the kibosh on many a bad idea before it's hit the airwaves.
There's truth to that, too.
That's fair, man. And you're getting a lot of love right now. Everybody's like, you're spot on. And then they says, take the win, Owen. Everybody said, take the win, Owen.
And then Tyler wrote, finish the studio, Owen.
Yeah, I got to do that.
All right. We'll see you later on.
Thanks for all your help, buddy. Thanks so much, man.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.
Charlie, tell Owen less call and more finish in studio.
Honest to God, I'm doing PA at a girls' high school basketball game last night. And the assistant athletic director there is Jake Moore. His sister lives in West Des Moines and is a teacher in the West Des Moines school district. And he goes, hey, I got to talk to you. I'm like, what? He goes, my sister wants to know what the hell happened. And then we texted her, and her first reply is, when is the studio going to be done? I mean, the studio has become like this thing that people really, really know about.
Can't wait for the unveiling. When you unveil it, I want it to be like when we start the show, there's a curtain behind you.
Yeah.
And and then the curtain, and then all right, ready, and the curtain drops, and we get to all like there's a big reveal.
Yeah. I don't know if it's going to be very sexy.
Sarah might have. This is the winner so far. Black and Gold Rush.
Because it's going to be on the Rush radio show in our channel, so that does make sense. Black and Gold is pretty generic enough to where it doesn't run into copyright stuff. I like it.
Sarah's a good idea factory on Way to Go Street. Sarah, high five.
Way to go, Sarah. Did you follow this plane crash yesterday with the figure skaters? This was just devastating. Absolutely devastating. And it got me thinking, Ross, the first thing I thought of was the Iowa State cross-country team that crashed in, I believe, 1985. And then I started looking at how many plane crashes have involved sports teams, sports figures, or athletes. And to me, the number is astonishing. Absolutely astonishing. But just go to yesterday when you have a Black Hawk helicopter hit an American flight, killing, I believe, 67 people. Just absolute, at nighttime, just devastating. Just devastating.
Yeah, an absolute tragedy, Travis. This stuff just gets so wonky right away, right? There's so many people kind of throwing in their opinions. I did see on, I don't want to misattribute it, but I think it was one of those Twitter accounts that popped up on my For You thing, and there was a really good thread, and it was pilots talking about what they felt like they were seeing in that. And that there was some pretty good stuff in that. Just no matter what happened, man. The video of that husband at the airport. Have you seen that?
I have not.
Oh, dude. The news obviously is in the terminal, and they get this guy who's there waiting for his wife on the plane. And they're like, he's like looking at his phone, and he's saying, "Man, I just hope they're going to pull somebody out of the Potomac." And the news camera is like, "Are you looking at text messages or not? Can we see the text messages?" Anyway, it was.
The most disheartening thing, and it's society today, and it starts with the president, works on down, is you don't have to play the blame game right away. How about have some empathy, some sympathy, some compassion? 67 souls are gone, and we want to place blame at minute number 1.
Yep.
And I get it. We kind of fall into that. I mean, we react to stories. We do that. But this is one of those. Can we just pause real quick? Can we just pause and go, let's find out what the hell happened?
Yeah. It's a tragedy, man.
The first recorded death of a sports figure by airplane was in March of 1931, and it was Notre Dame football coach Newt Rockne. who was killed in a plane crash in Bossier, Kansas. He was on a transcontinental and Western Air. And then the Winnipeg Toilers. 7 people died in a private plane outside of Neodesha, Kansas. I mean, a lot of these either originated or happened in Kansas, which is really weird. The Army, that was the Winnipeg Toilers was 1933. In 1947, the Army-Navy softball team, 20 people died in Alaska. I can keep going down. I mean, these probably the most, I don't want to say famous, but what would be a good word? I don't want to say famous, because famous sounds like it's...
I mean, yeah, but the most well-known?
Marshall in 1970 would probably be...
That's not where I thought you were going.
Oh, really?
It's not the first one. I'll be honest. It's not the first one I thought of, and I would imagine there's a lot of people in Des Moines that have a different one that they're...
Well, and I mentioned the Iowa State cross-country team. That was 1985. You had Wichita State and their football team killed 31. That was in 1970. That was in October. Then in November, Marshall and their plane crashed. 75 people died. In 1985, and I'm skipping over some.
You're skipping over a big one, dude. You're skipping over the big one for local.
Which one?
1969.
Oh, I missed that one. Hold on.
Rocky Marciano.
Oh.
Happened in Newton, and Willie Frel's brother was on that flight.
I did not know that.
Yep.
His brother was on that flight?
Willie Frel's man, yeah, Willie Frel's brother. I am like, I hate to say that I am like 90. Yeah.
I did not know that.
In Newton.
Wow.
That was when you first said, man, athletes have died. A lot of athletes have died. The very first one that came to my mind was, oh, man, yeah.
That one must be skipped over because it's not on the Wikipedia page. I know Wikipedia is not. And the reason I didn't bring it up, Ross, A, I don't think I knew about it. And 2, it's not on the Wikipedia page that I'm looking at. I wonder why it's not on the Wikipedia page. I don't know. Of course, you had the Iowa State cross-country team in 1985. You just trying to bring up Alan Kulwicki in 1993.
Somebody mentioned Payne Stewart in the
in
the chat there.
Yeah,
the Uruguay rugby team. That's the one in 1972. That's the group that they made the movie Alive about.
Mm-hmm.
And now there's a new movie out that is called Society of the Snow. And it's like the survivors' retelling of what happened. They're like actual, what's the word I'm looking for? Where they got together. This isn't a Hollywood remake like Alive was. This is the people that did it. Went back to the site. It's not a documentary. It's fantastic.
Do you remember the Oklahoma State basketball team?
No. A lot of those that you went through, Trav, those are new.
It's well, in people are bringing up Kobe. You're absolutely right. I mean, Wikipedia is missing a lot. The Oklahoma State basketball team, that happened in 2001, 24 years ago. And they were leaving Colorado, and there was a plane crash there that killed, I think, like 10 or 11 members of the basketball team. Just tragic. And then you have this incident, which, again, happens at night. The weird one about this, a lot of these were just crashes. Don't want to take anything away. But when you have a mid-air crash, dude, with the technology that's available today, you go, how does this happen?
The best example, or the best, again, trying to attribute it to ignorance rather than malice. The best explanation that I heard from one of those pilots on that X thread yesterday was, we've all seen the video where the plane in the foreground is taking off.
I got Willie Frel on hold, I believe.
Do you really?
Yeah, I believe.
I want to make sure I got the details that right, man, because
so
I kind of felt bad just reaching out there.
Willie, what's going on?
Not much, man. I'm just listening, doing my favorite show in the morning, and I heard you guys talking about it. Yeah, it was. I was 13. It was August 31st, 1969. Rocky was a good friend of the family's, and we can go into a whole different story about how that occurred. But yeah, they were coming from Chicago. They were coming from Chicago to Des Moines. It was eve of Rocky's 46th birthday. We were having a party for him at the old charcoal room on Indianola. And what happened was they were going to fly commercial. My brother Tommy got him a private flight. It was a friend of the family kind of thing. Said he would do him a favor, pilot air, and that's what happened.
Oh.
So yeah.
And so Willie, this might be why it wasn't on that list, because at 46 years old, Rocky would have been retired.
Yeah, he was retired. It was right after he did, and I don't know if you ever saw it. He did that simulated fight with Muhammad Ali.
Oh yeah.
You ever see that? Where
you ever
they
see
actually
that, Trav?
did computer fight? Yeah.
It's like a CGI thing.
Really? I've never seen this.
Yeah, they actually got together and fought. They really did. I mean, they went together and actually like threw punches at each other and shit and stuff. And it was crazy.
Hey, Willie, you can say that, Rocky, man.
You're fine. You can say that.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. But Rocky actually, when they did it, Rocky actually won the fight, and then Ali got mad about it afterwards. But it was nuts.
So Willie, I don't want you to relive it. I mean, it's been since 1969. Like back then, there's no social media. How long does it take? Like authorities, how did you find out that your brother had been killed? How long does it take to?
It was that night. We were waiting for him, and they found the crash that night because they tried to track the plane and they found it. So we knew that night, and then the next day it was headlines in the paper. I mean, it was splashed over everything after that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
Hey, I know you started listening on.
You look at.
I know you started listening on day one. We appreciate you following us over. Yeah. And you know what? We can do this. Brooks is going to join us later on. Maybe, when you got a show coming up or something, or you're going to plug Italian Fest, we'll give you the video link and you can hop on, and we'd like to see you in the morning, in your jammies.
There you go. Yes. I'm nude. So then I'll come on that. And once again, like you said, there's no rules. So we'll just see what happens.
We can link up to our OnlyFans account for you, Willie. What we could do, and I mean, we could do this thing where we have Willie come on and just tell his family stories are unreal. Yeah. I mean, not many guys can say they saw the Harlem Globetrotters play in his backyard.
Exactly. Or sat at the dinner table with Jimmy Hoffa. So
I mean, come on.
Yeah.
What I hear you saying is you're connected.
Yeah. It was. I can remember as a kid. I can remember. What's funny is, do you remember the movie The Irishman came out?
Yeah.
With Robert De Niro. Yeah, and that guy Frank Sheridan. As I go back in time, I remember when Jimmy Hoffa came to Des Moines a couple times, and he had that guy with him.
So
kind of weird.
Willie, I'm going to ask you a question because you're old enough to remember this. I live in Omaha.
Yeah.
And there's a rumor that in my neighborhood, like 3 blocks away, there was like a safe house for Jimmy Hoffa. And I know where the house is, but they said he had safe houses in cities around Chicago and stuff, or around these areas.
Around the Midwest?
Yeah. Do you think that's true?
Oh, yeah. My father used to go to Omaha quite a bit. He had some friends there. There were some really connected guys in Omaha. And I remember, and some of the guys that I don't know if they were connected or not that were that my dad used to go see all the time. There was a guy named Tony Otto that had a drive-in called Tony Otto's. You remember that?
I don't. I'm too young.
There was another guy that had a bowling alley on 72nd and Dodge. His name was Tony Purcello.
That's still there. It's called West Lanes, I believe. That's still there.
Yes. And my dad, one of his best friends was a guy named Jimmy Farhart, who was a connected guy way back in the day. My dad used to visit them quite a bit. So Omaha was definitely a place.
When's your next show, man? When are you playing next?
From now I got a bunch of corporate stuff going for the next month and a half, and then I'll be back in Vegas. I always go to Vegas the first week of March Madness. So I'll be there for the first week.
We're gonna have one of your. I'm gonna have one of your brethren on next week. Tammy Pescatelli is going to be joining the show on Wednesday.
tell her I said hi. We've talked. We have actually discussed. She had a thing that she was going to do with some Italian comics, and she inquired if I'd like to be interested in doing it. So it hasn't come to happen yet, but we're discussing maybe doing a show together. So give her my love.
Will do.
Willie,
Hey.
thanks a lot, buddy. Thank you.
Thanks, man.
Keep up the good work, guys. I'll be listening.
Thank you, buddy.
Bye, bud.
Later, guys.
If you need validation, you know, you always need that little that little ego boost, and the chat does it for me. But the fact that you just brought up Willie in that story and he calls right away, that's super cool.
Man, like being a kid that grew up here in Des Moines, there's a handful of local people that you look at and really look up to. Keith Murphy, Ed Wilson, Willie Frel. These were guys that, and then you get to know them, and they're like wonderful men. You're like, oh, this is awesome. This is cool. I want to be like these guys.
You know, I don't want to give stuff away, but this is inside baseball, so I apologize. But read that last comment and idea for future expansion.
Yeah, listen, Willie could share stories with. I know a handful of them from hanging out with him over the years and getting to know Willie, and he's a treasure trove of stuff, and he really is an open book. And oh man, this is crazy. Let me tell you this one thing I remember, and it's just like that conversation there. Every conversation sparks more memories, and it's just an onion. You're unfolding it. You're like, wait a minute. Wait, what about Hoffa? Your dad testified where? Your uncle was who? Wait,
your brother died with who?
I'm telling you, and it just is. And the way he's like, well, yeah, and then this happened because that was his life, and that was what he knew. And again, to come home from school one day as a kid and look out the back window, and the Harlem Globetrotters are practicing in your backyard. And that was, again, listen to the way he just said that, like it was normal. You know, that was his life. It's really cool. Fascinating guy.
515-517-2303. That's the number to call. Coming up tonight is going to be a big night in college wrestling. And it is number 1 Penn State against number 2 Iowa. And to me, there's not much. I think it's Penn State, it's Iowa, and then it's like everybody else. There doesn't seem to be a lot of parity in college wrestling. Now, people can push back on me on this.
I'll be pulling for the Hawks tonight. Obviously, my buddies and I are going to be getting together over on the east side to watch this thing. The truth is, it's Penn State, and then it's Iowa, and then it's the rest. And there's a gap. You have to pause. I think that last I saw, Penn State has like 7 top 5 wrestlers. 7 different guys are ranked in the top 5 of their weight. I think it's ridiculous. Whatever it is, if it's 5, if it's 7, if it's 9, it's crazy. And they are. This is as close as the Hawks have been on paper, at least. When you look at the matchup, as far as rankings, this is as close as the Hawks have been in several years. I'd love to think that they can pull a few upsets. They're going to have to. I don't know what the betting odds are on it, but Penn State has to be a heavy favorite. Heavy.
Well, Tyler says Penn State minus 20.5. Jay says Iowa may win 2.
And again, Iowa's the second best team in the country, and they might win 2 of the 10 bouts. It's incredible what Kale has done at Penn State, man.
We've done this before, but I think it's revisiting because this is a new show. Is if Kale Sanderson would have, and in hindsight's 2020, stayed at Iowa State, do you think he could have built a powerhouse at Iowa State that he's built at Penn State?
If. This is where we should get our buddy Jeff Murphy on, because Jeff is a Cyclone Wrestling historian, and he could give us great detail on this. And Jeff, if you're listening, 515-517-2303, please give us a call. The ifs, Travis, are if they could have given him the resources that he was demanding that he was asking for, and that he was trying to say, I need these things in place in order to build what I want to build. Could he have done that at Iowa State? I want to think so. Iowa State, man, we were just bragging on Jamie the other day, right? And what an incredible job he has done with his time at Iowa State. They were not in a position to do what Kale needed to have done. He needed the resources of a Penn State to be able to go and do what he did. Jamie Pollard could have given him what he wanted, but it would have been at the expense of a lot of other things. Your basketball program might not be where it is. Your football program might not be where it is. Jack Trice Stadium might not look like it looks. I don't know any of these things. Jamie Pollard would be a great one to ask some of these questions to, and he could maybe tell us what his perspective on it is. My opinion is they probably could have given him that stuff, but Jamie saw the big vision of Iowa State athletics and thought, we can't afford this right now. It will set back all this other stuff too much if we invest this much in wrestling. So, unfortunately, he rolled the dice that Kale wouldn't be as successful as he is, because this is what it looks like now.
515-517-2303. We've got an hour in the books. We got an hour to go. Of course, just a quick reminder that you can follow us on the social media channels. First and foremost, we would like you to subscribe to our YouTube channel. When you subscribe to our YouTube channel, you become part of the community. Follow us on X at Rush Mornings, and of course, like our Facebook page. Brooks Reynolds is going to join us around 7:30. While we're on this topic of college sports and keeping up, something interesting in the Iowa legislature has popped up, and we'll talk about that when we come back on the Rush Radio Show on therushradio.com.
Not too many places hit all the right notes. But when it comes to great atmosphere and delicious scratch-made food, Truman's is the name to know. Game days are for Chiefs fans, but every day is for the food fans. Truman's, get to know us by name.
I'm loving these wooden nickels, Brian.
Yeah, I suppose everyone is catching on.
Just spend $20 to get a wooden nickel.
It's 25.
Collect 10 and add up the savings on your next purchase.
Some of these are worth $5. That could be huge.
I know, right? That's why you have to spend $20.
It's 25.
Collect 10. It's like money back to you.
Spend 20, you get another wooden nickel.
It's 25.
Collect 10 and add up the savings. It's huge.
Central City Liquor is home of the 10% cash coupon.
And the wooden nickel program.
It's huge.
There's a new spin on casual dining near Drake University. Lucky Horse Beer and Burgers. Craveable faves, flatbreads, delicious burgers, frozen cocktails, and a crazy cool vibe. Get to Lucky Horse Beer and Burgers today.
What's going on, everybody? It's Bobby here at Land Rover Des Moines. Just want to say Happy New Year, and I want to invite you guys in, because right now we have over 35 Land Rovers in stock, ready for immediate delivery, like this Range Rover Sport here with $2,000 in loyalty. This is a great time to come on in, find a great vehicle at a great deal. So stop down and see us at the showroom or visit us at LandRoverDesMoines.com. We'll be glad you did.
It is the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive. Listen all day at therushradio.com. Click the Listen Live link. And the podcast also, of the replay of the show, also available at therushradio.com. Good to have you along on a Friday. I'm Travis Justice. He's Ross Peterson. Good for that. These hours, we talked about it. These hours just fly right on by. Just fly right on by.
Yeah, that's every time you go to take a break, I look down at my clock and go, yeah, we're moving. It's the only indication we have if we're actually having a good show. Is it for going fast? Are we enjoying it?
As long as we're having fun, that's all. That's all that matters. We do have a programming note for next week. I just want everybody to be aware. A lot of you know that I have a full-time job when I leave here, so sometimes I have some other obligations. On Monday and Tuesday and Thursday, we will only be doing a 1-hour show. We're going to go from 6 to 7, only doing a 1-hour show. Now, the reason that is happening that way is because before the control room was in Ross's hands. Now the control room is in my hands. So in order to stay on the air, I kind of need to be here. But we're going to do. Are you okay with that, Ross?
Absolutely. Yeah. No, not a problem at all.
So just be aware that we're going to have 1 hour shows on Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday of next week. So don't be shocked when we sign off at 7 o'clock. We're not. It's normally a 2 hour show. We just have to make a couple of adjustments. And again, this was pre-planned stuff, and not much we can do about it. And we'll go from there. Have you heard of state legislator Skylar Wheeler?
No.
Well, Skylar Wheeler is a Republican in District 4.
Okay. I don't even know where District 4 is, if you want to know how disconnected I am.
And he has put a file in the Iowa legislature, I believe it's file 153, to reinstate baseball at Iowa State and Northern Iowa. Now, I believe I've talked to Representative Wheeler a little bit on the social media channels, and he's going to try and join us next Wednesday to have a deeper conversation about this. And there are a lot of people who like college baseball, but there are so many questions from the viability of it, from the expense of it, and does it make sense in today's college landscape? Because Iowa State and UNI would have to do, I mean, there's a huge expense to this. Huge expense. Iowa's sitting in a really good position because they have a baseball stadium that is equipped for college baseball to start with. I mean, Dwayne Banks Field is perfect. They've expanded it.
Even a thing anymore?
It's there, but
Is
you know,
it really? Wow, I didn't even know it still existed.
It still exists. You know, I believe they play wood bat league games on that field. It's a glorified high school baseball field. Right? I mean, it's not a stadium by any means. It's a baseball field with some bleachers. Dwayne Banks is a stadium.
In its prime, it was what it needed to be.
Yes.
Right, Trav? I mean, it was a nice stadium for Iowa State baseball. It was. I liked going up to Cap Tim. I used to go to the Bobby Randall baseball camp, and I loved it up there. It was for what Iowa State needed it to be. Man, we're in a whole different world from that now.
Yeah, the landscape of college baseball has changed. The landscape of college athletics has changed.
You see, a lot of folks are saying Iowa State does have fields, and they are still maintained, so they're in. But I think if
a field and a stadium are two different things.
Yeah. And if it's the Cap Tim, I remember even being. You're right, Travis. There are high school baseball stadiums in Iowa, several, that would have more capacity, have more accommodations. It'd be a big investment. No matter what the state of it is right now, it would be a huge investment, and that's just Iowa State, who would actually have more chance of raising that money and being able. I'm interested to talk to Mr. Wheeler because I love this idea, obviously. I love it. How viable is it?
It's easy to say, hey, make them have it. But there's money involved because you can't play spring baseball on grass. Almost everybody, Dwayne Banks is turf now. You go to Lincoln, Nebraska, they play on grass, but they have a special drainage system, and they have more games rained out or snowed out. You need to put the field turf in to even really make it viable. So there would be an expense there. You'd have to expand the stadium. Then you have the recruiting budget. You have the scholarships. You have all that. UNI, no way could they afford it. UNI has to take money from the state. It's not a self-sustaining athletic department. They're not getting the revenues that Iowa and Iowa State are to be able to even fund such a sport. It would be very, very hard. And I guess my bigger question is, Ross, Iowa's been good, but how popular is college baseball in the state?
Good question. When Iowa's really, really good, college baseball gets onto the radar.
It's a blip. I agree with you that they get on the radar. but it's a blip.
Man, I'm torn here, dude. I'm torn on this one because and I think most people that are listening to this are probably in this exact same mental spot right now. Like, oh, that'd be cool. Would it? How would you do it? Because they went away for a reason. Man, and now we're already having these conversations about, a $20 million or $30 million expenditure for these athletic departments that they don't have a budget for right now because all their salaries are inflated into the bajillions of dollars. This is, if you could restructure the system the way that it was always supposed to be, the money would be there. You'd have it sitting around in your, not trust funds. What do they call those? Endowments.
Endowments. It's a trust fund. As much as we don't like maybe the system as it is, I think we do like the way Jamie Pollard and Beth Getz run the athletic department as a business.
Yeah.
And it has to be run as a business. And when you look at adding a new product, a new service, this goes for anybody. If you work at Nationwide, if you work at Principal, if you work at anything and you're like, hey, we may be adding a service, we may be adding a product. Does it make sense? Business sense? Because these athletic departments are $100 million plus businesses, and we don't want them to be a drain on the state.
Right.
Iowa and Iowa State technically operate outside. I mean, they're not using taxpayer money to fund the athletic department. They do that on massive revenues that come in from TV. And if you're a CEO, your first thing is make the business case. What's the expense? What's the revenue? And we've talked about this. The only two sports that are generating revenue are men's basketball and football. That's it. Those are your revenue drivers. And so you're keeping gymnastics around. You're keeping softball around. You're keeping other sports around just because, well, you got to have a minimum number of sports in the NCAA. If athletic directors had their way, they'd probably go, yeah, we're just going to have football and basketball because that's what's driving revenue.
This dude, again, I'm torn on a lot of this. Should a state legislator have this? That word jurisdiction. Going to have it a lot. I'm telling you, everybody get ready. That word jurisdiction. Does a state legislator have the power, obviously? Should he have the power to tell Jamie Pollard, to tell you and I, hey, you guys have to restructure your athletic departments and include baseball? Because it's going to be at the expense of other things. It's going to be a restructuring for, especially at you and I, like we're talking about a huge amount of money they don't have.
I believe both cuts, you and I was probably more budget. I believe Iowa State was a Title IX cut because Title IX, if you add a sport, you got to add scholarships somewhere else too. It's got to be equal. And is it viable?
You'd have to cut something. Again, Trav, it would be at the expense of other things. And I'm, again, torn between this thing of, the athletic departments belong to the universities. It's a funnel. The athletic departments belong to the universities belong to the state belongs to the taxpayers, right? And we're at the top up here. And our representatives and our legislators, shouldn't they then have control of these things? It makes me feel weird because I want to say no. You don't have that power. So how am I? What's the mental gymnastics I got to do there to say, yeah, we the people, it's ours. But hold on, you don't get to say that. You don't get to go that far with it.
You've used this term a lot, and by the way, I like that he's passionate about baseball. I like that he wants college baseball.
Love it. Think this is great.
But you've used this term before. This is feel-good legislation.
Yep.
And that is, hey, it's probably not going to go anywhere, but I want to put this out there to say, I'm this passionate about baseball. I think kids in Iowa, and there are good baseball players at the high school level in the state
good.
of Iowa, are going to different states. They're going to different universities because there's limited opportunity for college baseball in the state. Iowa is your only Division I college baseball program. But I just don't know what the passion is for college baseball in the state of Iowa. I don't think it's that much. In Nebraska, when you only have one team and they've been to the College World Series, it's a little bit more. But it's not like LSU. It's not like the state of Texas. It's not like Arizona. California, Florida. LSU, I think, is the only baseball team in the country that actually makes money. And it's not as much as what you think. There's always, we've always had that caller that would end his phone calls, bring back baseball. And again, we'd laugh and we'd go, ha, 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 never thinking that it was real or possible. And I still don't think it's possible. But I'm anxious to talk to Representative Wheeler if we can make it happen.
That will be a fun
Wednesday.
conversation.
Yeah. I mean, when's the last college baseball game you've been to? Have you ever gone over to Dwayne Banks Field to watch the Iowa Hawkeyes play college baseball?
Never.
Last
college baseball game I would have attended. Well, Grandview. I've seen a couple of Grandview games in the last.
Okay, when's the last
years.
Division I baseball game that
it would have been the College World Series in 1997? 27 years ago.
I mean, that's a long time ago. And you came over just for the spectacle that is the College World Series.
Yeah, we literally drove over there for that.
Matt says, what about if one school offered a field of study but another didn't? Do we legislate that all the same classes? Because do we legislate that all the same classes are available at every university? Good point. Iowa State doesn't have a med school. I don't think Iowa has ag. I don't think Iowa State or Iowa has engineering the way Iowa State does. I like government staying out of most things.
Tank 28, separation of sports and state. Good. That made me chuckle, Tank. Thank you. That's a good one.
But this is Iowa 5. And I want to thank Mark Hanrahan. He put this on his Twitter page. I found out about this because I follow Hanrahan. And I did a little digging into it last night. And it's not much. It's just a little file. If you go to the State of Iowa government site, you can kind of find what it is. It's just, putting baseball back at UNI and Iowa State.
Hanrahan's a really smart guy. And he thinks about this stuff. What was his, do you remember, can you summarize it? Did he have an opinion on it, or did he just share it to say, hey, this is out there?
He just shared it to say this is out there.
Okay.
And it's
interesting. I might text him to see what his opinions is on, because he'd be a fun guy for us to talk to, because I guarantee you he's thought about it more than, again, I know about this 7 minutes ago when you brought it to my attention. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, I hope we do get a chance to chat with him. Skylar Wheeler is a 31-year-old state representative, dude.
Young dude.
What have you accomplished in your life? That's what I'm asking myself today. I'm going to look in the mirror and I'm going to say, Skylar Wheeler's 31, and he's done shit you couldn't dream of. You loser. That's how I motivate myself. I look myself right in the eye and I go, you loser.
You're not a loser. Do you know how much stuff you've done in your life?
Very impressive to be 31 years old and at that place. So good job out of you, kid. I hope that we get a chance to chat with you and pick your brain on this.
And this isn't about an R and a D. I'm not getting into the R&D part of it.
Did you even say if he was a Republican or Democrat? I don't remember.
I mentioned he's a Republican.
Okay.
I believe he's from Sioux County. But I like that he's passionate about college baseball. I like that. I just don't know if it's overreach to tell schools they need to have baseball, because there's money attached to that. And those are real dollars. To bring facilities up to par, to be competitive, and being a northern school, it's hard enough to attract college baseball talent here. it would be even harder without facilities. What are you thinking?
Wheeler,
You're looking at something.
You got me. You can read me like a book, my friend.
You're going down a rabbit hole, aren't you?
We're going down the Skylar Wheeler rabbit hole. All according to Wikipedia, so asterisk by any of this. If we get a chance to chat with him next week and none of this turns out to be true, it's all on Wikipedia. It says he graduated from Grays Harbor College where he played baseball, broke the all-time hits record, received an athletic scholarship to Northwestern College in Orange City, where he broke the school's single-season RBI and doubles record, batting a career .362 with 114 RBI. Wheeler led the Great Plains Athletic Conference in RBI and in 2014 and hits in 2015.
Wow.
And then immediately got into politics. He has been representing the party for a couple of years already.
What college did he go to again?
He went to Northwestern in Orange City.
Okay.
Think his name would be Skylar Van Wheeler.
I
see what you did there. You made a little Dutch joke.
Little Dutch joke because it's a Dutch community. I was at my friend got married up in Orange. I was in a wedding in Orange City, or near Orange City. Cool place. I do love the northwestern part of the state. Is like the Luss Hills. You know. You been there? You ever been to Western Iowa?
Yeah. I grew up in Western Iowa. Have you ever been on the Luss Hills Scenic Byway?
I mean, I've seen the Luss Hills. By the way, I'm on fire.
But
I got a rim shot here somewhere.
Do you?
Yeah. Somewhere. Hold on, everybody. That didn't pay off the way I was hoping it would. There needs to be more symbol. Yeah.
Hey, do you have your email on your phone?
I can get it there. Yeah.
Can you text the video link to Brooks for some reason? Yeah. So, so hopefully Representative Wheeler, he's been busy. He couldn't join us today. He said he's available on Wednesday, so we're going to try to make that happen.
Oh, very cool. You've already been reaching out. I thought, very cool.
Yeah, I'm working over here, buddy. I'm working over here. Trying to line up interviews, trying to tell people what an internet radio show is.
I'm telling you, dude, the eyes thing is real. Holy cow, am I getting blind. Things have to be at like just the right distance for me to see them. I'm at that, like when I get a menu now, I'm like, okay, hold on. Oh, let me see what I got here.
Charlie wants to point out that Northeast Iowa is better than Northwest and Southwest Iowa. I won't disagree with that. Northeast Iowa is beautiful. Charlie, not disagreeing. I love the Luss Hills, but you get up by Dubuque, you get up by Elkader, you get up there by the Wisconsin border, and it is absolutely spectacular. So I'm not disagreeing with anything you're saying. The Iowa State women, Ross, on the road last night, they were at Kansas State and lost in overtime 87-79. Audie Crooks had 28. Addie Brown had 20. She had 4 3-pointers. Tough loss for the Cyclones. They had a good fourth quarter, made their comeback in the fourth, outscoring the Wildcats 24-16, got to the OT, weren't able to close the deal.
I mean, listen, nice game for Audie. Not being able to close the deal at this point in the season with where this team is at, not like must win. Boy, Trav, I don't know. We'll see if that works. I tried to send him a text there. It wasn't a must-win game by any stretch.
And Kansas State ranked one of the best teams in the Big 12.
Not a killer. You had a good game. Is this Iowa State team have this would be a good conversation for Coach Fenley. We should reach out to him. Has this Iowa State team lived up to the expectations of this season?
Well, they were a top 10 team to start. Now, again, preseason polls are just guesses, right?
Yep.
But I would say, gut feeling, is no, it has not lived up to expectations. There's been some losses in there that have been disappointing.
Not that last night's one of them.
No.
But
the team's getting better. But I think if you start in the top 10 and you're not here in the top 25 right now, that's not living up to what you thought you were going to do.
And I would think that if maybe not the message he's given to the team right now, but I would hope that when he lays down at night and thinks about the big picture, the attitude is we just haven't progressed as quickly as I was hoping we would. Because still a young team, as you said, getting better. Just
and of course,
maybe not at the pace a lot of people were hoping or thinking they would.
So the Cyclones lose to Kansas State last night. That's the women's side. The men are going to be home tomorrow, a 1 o'clock game. Thank God this game's not on ESPN+. Too many Iowa State games. When you're the number 3 team in the country, you should not be on ESPN+. That's a money grab.
Why
money grab?
They're just trying.
It's just a money grab. And I know people are going to look at me and say, geez, Trav, it's only like $5.99 a month. I get it, but it's just one of those, I don't want to buy another service. I've got so many services that I'm like, you can't, is Duke ever on ESPN Plus? Are some of these big name teams ever on ESPN Plus that are in the top 10?
So Trav, explain it to me. Like when you say it's a money grab, meaning that if you put them on those streaming services, they have seen that if they put Iowa State on those streaming services, people are going to buy the app.
Yes.
Wouldn't that apply for Duke and North Carolina? And wouldn't they do that with their big brands?
But it seems like those teams are never on the ESPN Plus app.
That's why I'm saying I don't understand it. If that logic is that because I agree with it. I agree with your premise, which is they're putting Iowa State there because they want to get people to download the app and pay for it, and they know that Iowa State fans are passionate and every time they put them on there, they get more downloads, and that's why they put them there. Then why don't they do it with the big dogs? Wouldn't they get more around the country if they put up a Duke game or a North Carolina or who? And again, they've been. It's not because Iowa State's a top 5 team. They were doing this to Iowa State when Iowa State was unranked.
Is it because Iowa State's not a big enough brand?
I don't know. And I don't think that's it either, because I just don't go. I would love to speculate and hear what other people are thinking. I don't get it. I used to think it was exactly that. Like, man, they're getting people to download. Well, now I hear this and I go, doesn't everybody have it? Are people still activating the app because of Iowa State, or aren't most sports fans in the state of Iowa already there?
I don't do it for the principle of it. And I know you're probably going, well, that's weak. You should be watching the games. I'm just not going to shell over money. I'm just not going to do it.
I've had it for a long time. It's just now built in. You know what I mean?
Is that part of your Hulu package, though?
Yep.
Don't you? Yeah, see, it's not built into my package. And so for the principle of it, I'm like, you know what? I'll just follow along. I'll watch the highlights. I'll go through the box score, get the best I can. I'm just not going to do it. Some people are saying, on the YouTube chat that, when you talk about Duke and North Carolina, that those are big national brands, and there would be a point where people probably revolted, and that may be the case. Kansas has been on ESPN Plus, but the difference here is, the ACC has the ACC network, much like the Big Ten has the Big Ten network. It has Peacock. There are other avenues. The Big 12 doesn't have any other avenues. There's no Big 12 network. It has ESPN Plus. You have ESPN, ESPN2, ESPNU. Then the fallback is ESPN Plus. There's not like the SEC network, the ACC network, and someplace to put those games. But tomorrow's on ESPN2. Jerome Tang coming back to Hilton Coliseum after he accused basically Iowa State of cheating.
Did Iowa State fans come up with something to do? The camcorder idea, the throw it in his face in some way?
I'm sure they'll do something. There's going to be something creative from the Iowa State student section of the Iowa State crowd.
Was it the Jerome Tang game where the Iowa State Jim Carrey guy was born?
That's a good question.
Was that where he did the...
If you're listening on the stream, I'm sorry you couldn't see that, but if you're watching on YouTube, you got a good view.
We just did the double hands crying emoji. That's how you describe that, I think.
I think that's exactly what I did. 515-517-2303. That is the number to call. Of course, you can always connect with us on the social media channels. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Very simple. Just search The Rush with Travis Justice and Ross Peterson. Follow us on X at Rush Mornings and like our Facebook page. You can listen to The Rush Radio Show all day long on therushradio.com. Just hit the Listen Live button. Or you can listen to the podcast replay of the show on all the major podcast channels. It is The Rush Radio Show on Rush Radio, therushradio.com. Powered by Willis Auto. Ross Tires. If you want tires, get to Willis Nissan because they've got tires for you.
Dude, what an incredible offer they're running here. Starting on Saturday, if you can get a hold of Steve at Nissan, they are offering buy 3 tires, get a 4th tire for $1 at Willis Nissan. Starting on Saturday, select tires only. And again, get a hold of Steve at Nissan. And when you do, tell him you heard about it here on The Rush.
Missing a quality home-cooked meal? You know, the kind Mom used to make? Lucky for you, we found her recipe book. Welcome to the High Life. Welcome to the champagne of bars.
You know why Central City Liquor is always so busy?
Yeah, it's because of the cash coupon.
Saving money is important, but honestly, I think it's our huge variety, the convenience of our store.
Now, I'm going to stick with the everyday cash coupon.
Well, the guys come in for those great values, but the ladies come in to see me, you know.
I don't think so.
Morning, Tom. I got cash coupon today.
Good deal. That's going to save you some money on that bottle, Mike.
Central City Liquors, open 7 days a week, 5 blocks north of 235 on 2nd Avenue. Save 10% when you pay in cash.
With over 260 beers on tap, El Bait Shop isn't just another craft beer bar. It's the best. Beer lovers know El Bait Shop, 200 Southwest 2nd, Des Moines.
Start the new year with a new car at Willis Chevrolet of Granger. We have the largest inventory of new and certified pre-owned vehicles in the area, and we're offering huge savings during our new year new car sales event. Save up to $8,000 on selected 2024 Silverado 1500s or $10,000 on Tahoes or Suburbans. Looking for something affordable? Check out the Trax and Trailblazer starting at just $23,000. At Willis Chevrolet of Granger, we're your small, friendly, family-owned dealership. For great deals and great service, visit us at Willis Chevrolet at Granger today.
It is the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive. Go to willisauto.com. Cadillac, Infiniti, Jaguar, Land Rover, Lexus, Mini, Chevrolet, Nissan. Want a job? They're hiring techs. So go check them out at willisauto.com.
Dude, we've talked about the first day that we heard about that Nissan Kicks. You did the commercial, and I had not heard of that vehicle, so I pulled that up because it's a brand new vehicle for $25,000, like loaded with tech, I think is how you put it.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, what's that thing look like?
Pretty loaded.
Pretty cool looking car.
You know a guy who probably has a lot of tech, but I need him to pick his phone up. But I think he's putting his earbuds in right now, so I'm going to wait to bring him in. There he is. It's where in the world is our buddy Brooks Reynolds? What's going on, buddy?
Morning. Good afternoon. How y'all doing?
Good afternoon. So that means not in the U.S.
Not in the U.S.
Where are you today?
Well, I was trying. How do I open this?
I don't know. We're not there.
I was trying to do it from a rooftop, but I couldn't do it. So
Are you in
You're not
Amsterdam?
there. I'm in Reykjavik, Iceland right now.
Bacon stuff?
I'm in Iceland.
Yeah, no. Are you doing bacon stuff there? Are you like setting up a bacon fest there?
Yeah, doing some Bacon Fest stuff here in Iceland.
Wow. Now, it was your birthday. Did you celebrate your birthday in Iceland, or did you get there the day after your birthday?
I got here this morning.
Oh, wow.
You look good.
Yeah.
You're looking really good, man.
Feel good. Feeling good.
Good to hear that. So while you are in Iceland, this is not for an actual bacon festival. You're there kind of doing some setup for one, or where are you at in that process?
I am with Thorbjorn Tokby.
Thor!
And Botle and Artne and Chef Johan. So this is where I am at right now is Botle's family's jewelry store and boutique that his mom runs. And this is where we had the first Bacon Fest is right out in front of here. And we're just here just kind of maybe planning some stuff that we may tell you later. But, just thought I'd do a quick board meeting here in Iceland real quick. So I thought I'd give you boys a call.
So
I hear tax write-off.
Yeah. 5,000-foot view, Brooksy. How in very vague window. You're there today kind of having a conversation. Are you planning? Does this mean a year? Does this mean a couple of months?
I don't know. You never know what's going to happen with these four gentlemen here in Iceland. They're always keep me on my toes, but no, just trying to see what we can do some fun stuff here in Iceland again. And, met these gentlemen almost 15 years ago, and I've been coming here and it's always fun to see what, just how the longevity of our friendship has gone throughout the, decade and a half we've been coming here to Iceland.
So have you not had Bacon Fest in Reykjavik since COVID, right? Has it been that long since COVID?
2019 was the last event we had here.
Wow.
Yeah. And it's just hard. And, especially now with the way that some companies are just, they're not sponsoring events, especially international bacon festivals in Iceland like they used to. So it's a little difficult, but just meeting my brothers here over in Iceland and having a good time, trying to get them to come back to the Iowa State Fair and maybe the Bacon Boat, maybe, Keystone and, see what we can do here in Iceland.
Now, you have Bacon Fest 2025 coming up at the Iowa State Fairgrounds in May. It is the Bacon Boat, the yacht rock themed event. I noticed the other day tickets are now on sale. You can get a private table. Those are like $600. Do you get much pre-sale for that? Like right now, is it or are people going? Yep, I'm getting in there.
Yeah, we've sold, I think we've sold, 10, 12 tables, a couple hundred tickets. The diehards always get their tickets right away. And, we'll really start marketing probably, early March. The new brains. Well, I've got her brains back as Mindy Toyne of In Any Event. She's a head cat herder at the Blue Ribbon Bacon Festival again. And, just working with her and just got a great team with, her and Luke Seelman and Jen State and Sharon Keeling and just, a lot of my great old friends that help, put on what the Blue Ribbon Bacon Festival is.
I've got a great idea where you can market Bacon Festival. It's called the Rush Radio Show and therushradio.com.
We got stickers for you. We got stickers for you, Brooks. We're gonna get you.
I've seen those.
Did you hear?
Like those.
Will you let us put those on the bathroom wall at JR's? Move your shoulders there, Ross. This was banned from Hilton Coliseum. They wouldn't let us have these at Hilton Coliseum above the urinals. So at JR South Fork Ranch, can we put those in all the porta potties out there?
Well, the only thing is our bathrooms are not open to the people during the fair. We close those.
No, I meant during the fair.
We don't have public bathrooms during the fair.
Yeah, the only bathrooms during the fair are the porta pots that are.
Well, they're building a bathroom just to the south of us, which is amazing. But
nice,
we don't have
a permanent structure there.
Permanent shitters.
Wow.
Yeah,
but that's good because I think most people don't like to go to the restroom in a porta potty. Unless it's one of those fancy trailers like we had at Abigail's wedding. You remember that?
Yeah, the
Brooks. Yeah.
It's King's Throne or whatever they're called.
Yeah, I mean it had an air conditioner. It had it was really really nice. But I didn't know you weren't going to have all those porta potties.
No. The the number one question we get asked during the fair is where are the bathrooms? And the Blue Ribbon Foundation, helped raise some funds to help put that in. And they've been talking about that for a couple of years. But yeah, I mean, to have bathrooms, just so close to us is great. I mean, then our clientele don't have to wander too far, and they can, consume a couple cold kickers and a 2-foot long lobster roll.
What you sell for $100? Price going to go up next year?
Price is going to go up. Lobster is expensive now. Oh shoot!
Oh my! What coat are you? Is that camouflage or is that supposed to be like a cow?
It's cow print.
Yeah, it's cow print. Come on.
I
fling a lot of cow poo, so you might as well wear a cow print shirt.
Hey, I don't know if we can talk about this. Maybe we can, maybe we can't, but I'm going to bring it up anyway.
He's going to bring it up. So if not, just hang up.
Well, can you talk about that special thing you're doing out in Connecticut? Because I think that's really cool for the state of Iowa. Okay, maybe not.
I don't think so. No,
okay.
I can't talk about that yet.
Okay, I'll shut up.
Once I get approval, I will come back on. And actually, you know what? I think that would be really cool. Is I'll try to get the bigwig of that thing to come on and do an interview with you. I think that would be really cool too.
Okay.
Maybe you guys should just come out with us
to Connecticut.
Yeah.
Well,
Road trip.
Do that.
Well, we can talk about some sponsorship. I mean, yeah, we can talk about that. It's going to cost you, but sure.
How about this? Ross and I just go out, and Travis, you can stay at home.
I'm good with that.
Actually, how about this? Ross and Jeanette and I can go out, and Travis can
even
stay
better.
at home.
Even better. I like we're turning it up. We're fine tuning here.
Yeah.
Getting there.
Brooks likes my wife more than he likes me, and I don't think that's fair.
Everybody likes your wife more than they like you.
You're right. And everybody likes my son more than they like me. And
True.
Yeah. So how long are you in Iceland, my friend? This is the first time the Rush has gone international.
80 hours.
Oh, I thought you were going to say days. I really did.
No.
I thought he was going to say 80 days. Going to be June before I'm back, boys.
No. I'm trying to get you. Well, so you can see that's the big Reykjavik chapel. Can you see that?
Yeah, we can see that
Kinda,
spire.
sorta?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways.
How long of a flight is it, Brooks? Uh-oh.
Brooks.
Did we lose him?
How long of a flight? Is it like a 6 or 7 hour flight once you get out of Chicago or Toronto or wherever you flew up?
5.5 out of Chicago.
Damn, that's not bad at all.
Yeah.
No, I got a quick little 3.5 hour nap and hit the ground running. I've already walked about 5 miles this morning with Artney, and then we're going to go to a Danish smorgasbord for lunch.
And Brooks, I mean, you're not like bundled up, but you are inside wearing a coat. So what temperature is? And use Fahrenheit.
It's not that bad. It's 32 degrees right now, but it's just windy. There's a big storm coming tonight, so it's like snowed like crazy yesterday, and we're gonna get hit. I mean, it's not the best weather, but it's gonna be interesting, as they say. But no, we always have a good time here in Reykjavik. So we actually have a party tomorrow night. It's called Thorbolt. We have to go sacrifice a sheep somewhere in the country tomorrow morning, I think.
Sacrifice a sheep.
Like you do.
Hey, we're going to eat it. It's not like it's going to go to waste.
If you said to me last month, hey, Ross, you have a friend that's going to be sacrificing a sheep in Iceland, I'd have said, oh, you're talking about Brooks.
Yeah.
All right, buddy. We're going to let you go.
Right,
it's always good catching up.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, happy birthday. Belated birthday.
We should have Brooks come on sometime. Well, or do we want to have Jason Willis come on to tell Brooks stories, or do we want to have Brooks on? Because you're buddies with our friend Jason Willis.
Yeah, we swam together in high school.
See, it didn't sound creepy until you did that face.
Yeah,
it was fine. Let's just say it was real high and tight.
He is. He's another guy very well connected, man. We have
Jason Willis is the best. His family, his dad, his brother, his mother, they were the best. Great, philanthropist through the Des Moines. They're so involved in so much different stuff. If you need a car, go to Willis Auto Campus. I need a Range Rover, so
there you go.
Are they the ones who purchased my grandpa's bar?
No, that's Chris Heck, Stivers Ford.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's very nice. We should have you over there once.
Yeah, because I believe he still has pieces of the bar that he's got in storage for me. So, all right, man, you go sacrifice a sheep, have some good sheep meat, and we'll talk to you when you get back to the States. Okay, buddy?
All right, guys, have a great day.
Yeah.
See you, bud.
Brooks Reynolds joining us from
One and
Reykjavik,
only.
Iceland.
The one and only. 5 hours flight. That's a hop, skip, and a jump, man.
It is. I'm going to Italy in March. We're gonna have to work that out too with the setup. We can make it happen. It's just
figure it out.
Owen and I are probably gonna have to run over to
Radio Shack.
No, to Des Moines to get you all set up on.
Oh,
how
okay.
To, how to,
Okay.
how to,
I'm
how to
good
do
with
this
that,
thing.
too.
Yeah. Ross, I know a lot of people are anti-gambling, and I understand their reasons behind it. It is, when you become an addict, you have a disease. I mean, addicts of any type, whether it's alcohol, drugs, sex, gambling, that's a disease. I think we can agree on that. There is a investigation underway into alleged game fixing in the NBA and college basketball. And this is interesting in the fact that it goes to almost back to the Jonte Porter story, who was banned from the league for life last year. They are now looking at Terry Rozier, currently of the Miami Heat, as a subject of scrutiny dating back to his time with the Charlotte Hornets in 2023. They are also going back to college basketball games, mostly at mid-major conferences, Temple being one of them, as some weird gambling that happened against UAB. In that game, the first half wagering line jumped from UAB being favored by 1.5 points to the Blazers being favored by 8. And an alert was actually sent out to the monitoring service for U.S. integrity, and some betting outlets stopped accepting wagers on the game. UAB won 100-72. Now, the reason I bring this up is because for as much as people may hate gambling, and I understand your reasons, if gambling wasn't legal and monitored the way it is, we may never find out about some of this stuff.
You're right about that, Travis. And we've talked about this before, that having this stuff above board, it's a lot like the prohibition thing with alcohol. It's a lot better to have this stuff out in the open and regulated, and then when it's caught, we can see the clear line between what was allowed and what wasn't allowed in that. I don't know that you can. What's that? There's another cliche here. You can't legislate morality. You're not gonna write a law where people are gonna go, oh, okay, well, we won't fix games anymore. You wrote a law, so money's not important to us anymore. That's not the way it works. Trav, I think this stuff happens a lot more than we want to believe.
And even before it was legal. Even before it was legal.
It happened for a long time, man. Yeah. Again, these are stories Willie Frel could tell us. But Trav, I don't think you're never going to get rid of this stuff. I don't know what the answer is here. I'm not a huge fan of gambling. I think that I've never been. I'm not a gambler, and I do think that it has had an effect on our economy and our society since we've allowed gambling, since we've legalized gambling, and it's become more prevalent. I think we've seen a little bit of a slip. Guys like Tom Coates at Consumer Credit were warning about gambling and the dangers, the bigger dangers it has on our society for decades before it got legalized. And I think we're seeing some of that. But
we've heard stories of people when the casinos opened.
Again,
this happened.
Through all those things we just said, it's better now. We're able to catch this stuff a lot better. And I do think that, I don't know, maybe less prevalent than it was by having this stuff out in the open, but I'm not sure.
Well, I think less prevalent, maybe, but I think you can find it faster. And when you didn't have legal sports books, because the last thing Vegas wants, I'm good friends with Scott Spreitzer. He's we've heard Scott talk to us several times, but he'll say it till he's blue in the face. The last thing Vegas wants is anything shady going on, because their reputation is on the line. They've promised the government we can monitor this stuff. We can send up alerts. We can stop taking bets. We're going to turn things into the U.S. Department of Integrity. I didn't even know that thing existed. I don't know if it's a department, but they're able to say, hey, this is fishy. Be aware. We've shut it down. Here's the information. Go investigate. And I think back in the old days when you had bookies and strong arming, you weren't able to see that as prevalent as you are now with online apps and everything else that goes along with it. And I'm with you. I have no problem against gambling. I'm fascinated by the gambling world, the math that goes into it. I don't gamble because I don't like parting with my money. I don't like the feeling of losing money. You go to Vegas, you just go hang out by the Bellagio and watch the fountains.
I very rarely gamble, even in Vegas. The situation with my gambling, Trav, is usually when we're having fun, we're walking through a casino. I've been there a couple days, and one of my friends is like, hey, let's all pool. Let's everybody throw in $100 and we'll go hit the high roller room for 5 minutes. Like, oh, sure. Why not? Here's my $100 that I'm going to gamble in my 4 days in Vegas. And we go do that. And 5 minutes later, I'm like, oh, that sucked.
Yeah, because your money's gone.
That was really dumb. Why did we do that?
But your buddies are like, I got to keep going. I got to make this back.
I got to get it back, baby. Chase that dragon.
515-517-2303. You can also email me, Travis@therushradio.com. We're going to take one more commercial break. We'll come back. We'll wrap up today's show on The Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive.
Not too many places hit all the right notes. But when it comes to great atmosphere and delicious scratch-made food, Truman's is the name to know. Game days are for Chiefs fans, but every day is for the food fans. Truman's, get to know us by name.
I'm loving these wooden nickels, Brian.
Yeah, I suppose everyone is catching on.
Just spend $20 to get a wooden nickel.
It's 25.
Collect 10 and add up the savings on your next purchase.
Some of these are worth $5. That could be huge.
I know, right? That's why you have to spend $20.
It's 25.
Collect 10. It's like money back to you.
Spend 20, you get another wooden nickel.
It's 25.
Collect 10 and add up the savings. It's huge.
Central City Liquors, home of the 10% cash coupon.
And the wooden nickel program.
It's huge.
There's a new spin on casual dining near Drake University. Lucky Horse Beer and Burgers. Craveable faves, flatbreads, delicious burgers, frozen cocktails, and a crazy cool vibe. Get to Lucky Horse Beer and Burgers today.
What's going on, everybody? It's Bobby here at Land Rover Des Moines. Just want to say Happy New Year, and I want to invite you guys in, because right now we have over 35 Land Rovers in stock, ready for immediate delivery, like this Range Rover Sport here with $2,000 in loyalty. This is a great time to come on in, find a great vehicle at a great deal. So stop down and see us at the showroom or visit us at LandRoverDesMoines.com. We'll be glad you did.
Quick reminder to follow us on social media, and that is subscribe to our YouTube channel. Very easy to find. Just go to The Rush with Travis Justice and Ross Peterson on YouTube. Subscribe. All our episodes will be there, so if you miss anything, easy to find. You can follow us on X at Rush Mornings, and, of course, like our Facebook page. And if you missed any part of the show, the replay is on therushradio.com. You can click the Listen Live button as the show is in a continuous loop, or if you want to start from the absolute beginning, you can listen to the replay on your favorite podcast channel, Apple, iHeartRadio, Spotify. It's all right there. You know, Ross, we were talking about gambling, and did you see they simulated the Super Bowl 10,000 times? They've done 10,000 simulations of the Super Bowl, and they do this for gambling reasons. And these simulations are hitting at an unbelievable rate, like 67%. And they do all different scenarios. And right now, the best bet for the Super Bowl, according to these simulations, not picking a winner or loser, but it's to bet the over. And right now I think the over is like a 47 or 48, and the simulations have like a total points of like 52.5, and that's been like the best bet that they could find is to bet the over. But these simulations are coming in at an amazing rate.
Their accuracy is 67%. And now, I guess I have some questions about what that means. Not that they exactly get the score right, but is that like a betting?
It's not the score. So both teams. Okay, let me go back up and just let me read. We got about 5 minutes left in the show, but I'm going to have to get to the. It's a long story that I found on CBSSports.com. Should have been more. Okay, so the model, which simulates every game 10,000 times, is up well over $7,000 for $100 players on the top-rated NFL picks since inception. The model enters the 2025 Super Bowl on a 31-15 betting hot streak on the top-rated NFL picks this year. So they have top-rated picks on this site, a stunning 67% success rate. Longer term, it is on a 211-143 roll on the top-rated NFL picks dating back to 2017, and 65-36 roll on the top-rated NFL picks since Week 7 of 2022. The model also ranked the top 10 NFL pick watch for 4 of the past 6 years on straight-up NFL picks, beat more than 94% of the CBS Sports pick-em players 4 times.
It's a pretty good sample size, man. Going back to 2017, and you've got... Wow, that's pretty impressive.
But see, this is where with analytics, AI, all this stuff, where you're going to have to make adjustments, right? Because it used to be, I'm the worst gambler because I either bet with my head, which is rarely because I don't have much up here, or I bet with my heart. And
I
never bet against the Hawkeyes. Can't bet against the Hawkeyes.
I don't know if I bet with my head or my heart. I just know I lose money. That's what I know about gambling. Did you bet with your heart or your head? I bet with dollars. How did you do that? I missed a feature on the app. I don't have to bet dollars?
That would be a cool feature on a gambling app before you make this pick, we're doing a survey. Are you betting with your head or are you betting with your heart? It'd be interesting to see how many people were honest on that.
Your betting threshold changes whether it's head or heart. I'm betting with my heart. You're only allowed to bet $15. I'm betting with my head. Up to $100. Here you go.
Because what that really would be is, once you hit, I'm betting with my heart. Then the pop-up, do you really want to make this bet? Do you really, really want to make this bet?
You are about to make a head bet. Are you sure?
And gambling's not going anywhere because the NBA has embraced it. The National Football League has embraced it. Every major media outlet has embraced it because much like TV revenues, the revenue that they get from these is way, way too much. Way too much. So, what are you doing this weekend? Anything?
Wrestling tomorrow. Eli has, I think, his final wrestling meet of the year tomorrow. He's not in
It's over already, huh?
It's over already. First season in the books. Gosh, I feel like I got some other stuff going on. I feel like there was something happening Sunday. What am I forgetting?
I don't know. I'm not living your calendar.
Something. I'm gonna have a fun weekend. That's what I know.
Well, that's good.
Tonight, gonna hang out with the boys. Gonna go to Jerry's over on the east side and hang out, get some wings and watch some wrestling.
We need to thank everybody who tuned in this week. This was a leap of faith, and we're off and running. And I think Ross would agree with me. I don't mean to put words in his mouth. I don't think the week could have gone any better to kick something off. I think the biggest mix-up was day one when we had a couple audio problems, but it really wasn't that big of a problem. And we cannot thank each and every one of you who are watching and listening for jumping on this ride with us, because
and spreading the word, and just it's been a lot of awesome momentum. A huge thank you to our sponsors who helped us get this far and get us going. And Bruno, man, we talked about how Owen's a big part of this. Love us some Bruno. Big thank you to the Willis family. Big thanks to the Duax for the Duax family at Central City Liquors, and a growing roster.
And of course, Choice Creative, who's been, and Jeff Klein over there, who's been very, very supportive. We want you to enjoy the weekend. Tell people about us and listen to the show. If you missed any part of the shows, they're going to be listening 24/7 at therushladio.com. This is The Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive at therushladio.com. We'll talk to you on Monday, everybody.